real time. So, um, are you able to hear me,
Yes, yes, I.
Rakesh?
Yes, I. Sorry. Yes, I.
Okay. So, like the respective person who requested, right? Couple of person requested for real time. So, are they joined? They haven't. Like,
No, they haven't actually.
okay, they haven't, right? Okay, but
Yeah.
fine, not a problem.
We will
So,
share the video site.
video to them. Fine, fine. Thank you so much. So
Yeah.
Rakesh and the other person, I could see his name is Devil, but is this the first day that you are joining here, or you have already joined us yesterday? Can you please confirm?
It's my first day.
Okay, many your good name. Yeah, I could see your name Devil, but I don't wish to call you Devil.
Rohan.
Rohan. Okay,
Yeah.
so what do you do? Like, are you a student or working professional? Yeah, can you please intro about yourself?
I am a currently student.
Okay, so from which location you have joined?
I am from Pune.
You're from Pune. Thank you so much. So, what are you studying? So, what are your expectation with respect to this course?
Mastering cybersecurity.
Okay. So, what are you studying as a student?
Diploma in cybersecurity.
Great, great. Nice to hear. Thank you so much. And Rakesh, hi, very good evening. Hope you joined us yesterday, right?
Yes, right, sir.
Okay. So, just a quick intro about yourself within 3 lines. What you do, what is your expectation from which location you connected?
Rajasthan Sri Ganganagar.
Okay. So, are you a student or working professional?
I am working IT sector,
Okay.
desktop support engineer.
Desktops. Oh, you are the one. Okay.
Oh,
Fine. Thank you so much. So I
oh,
hope that you found yesterday's class, useful, and that's reason you have been here associating with me for the second day. Thank you so much, and I appreciate that. So, without wasting any time, so first of all, some housekeeping etiquette for the participants. So yesterday during the meeting, I could able to notice couple of them, joined from mobiles and they were turning on the videos. So which has caused some disturbance for the fellow participant. So we make sure that we follow some kind of etiquette. So whenever you're muting are unmuting, so you take care of yourself so that the other don't get disturbed. And there is also another request from couple of students yesterday that they inquired about real time activity, right? So yes, we'll be doing that. So that's what the course is all about. That's how the course has been designed from week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And you will be getting the real time walk around from the second week. The first week typically talks about the basics. So unless you go through the first week, you couldn't able to capture the real time stuff. So assume if I am asking you to find out some kind of vulnerability or some kind of CVE number, that may sounds Greek and Latin for you. Okay, so the first week is very important. And also I recommend you the following configurations needs to be there in your computer. So I just posted the requirements, especially for the request of students who requested for the real time. So these are all the test missions that we actually require. And it would be really helpful if you can arrange this at least for the second week. Okay, so there would be almost 10 to 14 days of time. So make sure that you configure by using a virtual machine. So we need three missions: one RHCL mission, one Ubuntu mission, and one Windows 11 mission. Okay, so you can YouTube, you can check how to deploy a VM in a virtual box. Okay, thank you so much. So yesterday we were talking about the basics of cybersecurity. Just we tried to understand what actually cybersecurity, information security is all about. But have you ever given a thought what actually security is all about, Rohan or Rakesh? So, so what's your thoughts on this? And one thing, so this is the tool that we are going to use. So this is the investigation tool, just for your information. So we have created everything, and you could able to see the logs, right? So what we are going to do, it has all the modules. You're going to explore what endpoint security is all about, and how the threat intelligence works, and also how the typical SOC operation takes care of SIM alerts. So what we do, you will be, I'll be helping you. I'll be showing out a real-time example of, how to perform an attack and how this can be monitored in this particular tool. Okay. So quick thumbs up if you have any doubts. Let me know. Are you good, Rakesh and Rohan? Okay.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
so much.
Yes, sir, no doubt.
No doubt. So this is a tool that we are going to work, and looks like Muhammad, the Yaha, and the another user has joined us. Can you please quickly give an intro about yourself?
Sir,
The guy with, yes, Yaha, go ahead.
I am
So you
19 years old.
okay?
I am currently first year.
Okay. So you have joined us yesterday, or is this the first day that you are joining us?
Second day.
Second day. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay. What about the other person joined from OnePlus? Can you please help us with your name?
Hello.
Yes, we could hear you. So
Yes, yes. My name is Munzir. Munzir.
okay, Mansoor.
Yep.
So what do you do? Are you a student or working professional? And what's your
I'm work.
expectation?
Yes, I'm working professional, working in TCS as network engineer.
Great, great. Nice to hear that. And
Thank you.
is this the second day that you are joining, or you have joined
Yes,
us yesterday?
second day. Yesterday I
Second.
was.
Okay.
Yep.
So just a quick recap that, hope you could able to see in your chart. So this is
Yes.
purely a real-time, activity based training. So the first week that we are going to, explore a couple of cyber security basics. Since you are already from a networking background, you know how basics are important, right? So this is how this has been designed. So first week we'll be talking about basics, and then we'll be working upon tools for investigation, SIM tool, and then we'll be performing some malicious attacks on EDR, and I will also be giving some assignments, real time assignments, so that you can explore that on real time basis. Okay, so this is the whole agenda of this training. And maybe if you could have missed, so this is the investigation tool that we are going to use. So the name of the tool is Vasu. We are going to talk very deep about this. So this is the lab environment that I have set up, and there are few requirements from your end too, that within 2 weeks, if you have some time. I know that many of them are working professionals. So we need a couple of VM missions that needs to be created, so that once you join this particular training, it would be really useful. Okay. So hope you got it, Munji. And okay, so yesterday we haven't deep dived anything about our concepts. So I hope so. Let's keep this very interactive. Munjir, Yaha, Rohan, and Rakesh. So when the word security comes to your mind, what actually strikes? So what do you actually think about a security? So please be interactive, so that if not, you'll get bored if I'm talking on one way. So so security is nothing but you need to keep a particular state or a particular condition to be unaltered, right? so that whatever the situation that is been there, the integrity, the availability, or the confidentiality of that particular system or that particular file won't get compromised, right? So that's what security is all about, right? So the state of being secure, that is free from danger. And in real world, you have different types of securities: physical security, personal security, operational security, communications, network security, information security. So we'll be giving a deep dive what actually information security and cyber security deals about, right? And people who are into network security already, communication security already, you people could have already have some real time experience how the TCP UDP actually works, how the communication protocols works, right? The digital signature, etc., etc. So this is how it talks about, isn't it? So with respect to physical security or personal security, so you could have noticed this, right? You in your corporate environment, so you could have seen some kind of especially for companies like Infosys, TCS, so they do have a corporate security. So what they will do on real time basis, they will make sure that the areas are not being intruded by the offenders. Okay, they'll make sure they use certain kind of mechanism. So we'll talk about that. Okay, so any doubts till here?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. So, yesterday we were trying to understand from layman perspective what information security and cyber security is all about. Let's try to understand the textbook definition. Okay, so protection of information and its critical elements, including systems and hardware that we use to store, transmit the data inside a company's. Apologies for the typo, from company's infrastructure. Okay, so I'll use my, just a minute. So assume you have a database. Just a minute. So assume that you have a database. Assume that this is a data center, and you have all the critical servers been available in your environment. So assume if someone is trying to intrude in. So, if you take necessary steps to protect this particular infrastructure where you are actually storing the data, your critical, day-to-day data, then you are, doing information security. Okay. And when it comes to cyber security, it's about protecting something from a vast perspective. So here in information security, the scope would be totally limited to your company. Okay, so your company assets, your company data, are protecting your employees would be the main agenda of in information security. Okay, so in cyber security, so for example, yesterday we were talking about CERT, right? Computer Emergency Response Team. Okay, so computer emergency response team of Indian government. So what they'll do, they will actually try to protect people from cyber attacks from different countries. Okay, so the cloud is nothing but the internet, right? So in the Indian space, the set of people who are using internet inside our geographical location needs to be protected. So for that, you have something called as a cert in. So people who predominantly work for protecting the network devices or programs from cyber attack. So especially that exists in the cloud is called as cyber security. So any doubts here before we jump into the another concept? Thank you so much. So please don't hesitate yourself asking questions. You can stop me at any time. I'm again trying to re-emphasize that this is not the usual kind of training where you feel shy, don't ask questions, keeping silent, right? That won't work here because you're being here to upgrade your skills. Okay, so once if you don't ask any question here, say I'm someone who's having 12 plus years of experience. I predominantly take interviews too. I design the pattern, etc., etc. So whatever the concept that we discuss here would be really critical, and I try to eliminate unnecessary data for you. So keeping that, since you are a beginners, this particular course has been designed in such a way that if you would like to switch from your existing career into information security, this really helps. Okay, and we will also try to understand couple of things that due to time constraints yesterday we were unable to discuss in depth, right? So we'll also do that. And information security and cyber security differences. So here, as I said you earlier, the main agenda of the security engineer, okay, security professional, would be purely on the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the respective company. But in case of cyber security, they will be protecting the resources that exist on the internet. So if I say internet, it is vast, right? So assume that if someone comes to you, assume that we have a desktop engineer, Mr. Rakesh. Okay, so now if the management ask him, so what is the number of Windows devices in our company, then what he'll do, he will be having an inventory. So he'll be taking a quick look at the inventory, and he will give them the respective number. Okay, he will be quantifying it, and he'll be providing the exact number, so that the respective standards, policies will be shaped. Okay, but in case of cyber security, the scope is vast. Okay, so it's like everything in Indian space. I assume that the servers, the network, everything that comes into scope. So in case of information security, your, as I said you earlier, your main job is to protect your data from any kind of threat. But in case of cyber security, you will be acting against all kind of dangers. Okay, let's try to understand this. So assume that so this is your company's data center, and assume so you have something called, can you please name some firewalls, Munjir, since you're a network engineer? I would like to, any firewalls that you work in your day-to-day life. Or Mr. Rakesh, so what kind of devices that you actually work upon as a desktop engineer?
Yes, sir.
So what kind of devices that you actually work in your day-to-day operations? Linux, Windows,
Windows.
especially Windows, right?
Windows or Ubuntu. Linux Ubuntu.
Linux and Ubuntu. Okay, that one flavor from Linux. So now what happens? So assume that this is your company's data center, and you have Windows, you have Ubuntu devices. Now if you take, what actually exists in your company, right? So you have a Windows machine, and you have a Windows machine, and all the vulnerabilities. So now and often you see in internet, right, that I'll show you something.
Yes.
So you could able to see that in the news, in the hacking news, that attackers are trying to abuse Microsoft SharePoint vulnerability, or assume that there is some kind of operating system. So you could see Citrix. So there are a couple of Citrix vulnerabilities, right? And there are a couple of Docker vulnerabilities. So this is how it actually exists, right? So now assume that, so you have all these respective infrastructure. Just a minute, apologies. Sorry, I'm back. Uh, Motish, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I, yes, I.
Okay, sorry for the disturbance. So you have this company's data center, and the type of devices that you actually use. Okay, so looking after the news, or you have something called as a CVE. Okay, we'll talk very in depth about CVE. So CVE is nothing but common vulnerability error. So this is a one-stop database where you'll get updated about the bugs, weakness, or vulnerabilities of your devices. Now, might be you might be aware, right, Rakesh, as a desktop engineer, right? So you could have been notified that certain kind of a patch needs to be installed for certain kind of Ubuntu or Windows devices. So this is the place. So we'll talk about the CVE in depth, but just for the information. So unless you know what kind of devices that you are using, you don't know what kind of bugs they're actually running with. And once you are aware what kind of vulnerabilities or bugs that they were actually running with, you cannot protect them, right? So this is what the information security guy actually takes care. So if he was aware of the vulnerability and he expect what kind of attack can happen on his infrastructure, okay, so based upon the attack, he will take necessary precautions. For example, we have a network guy. So assume that there is a vulnerability with a with a firewall. Okay, so or in a particular application they have a bug. So what they'll do, they will be taking care of certain tools like web application firewall, right? Assume that there is an authentication exploit or some kind of a DDoS attacks, right? So all can be mitigated by using certain kind of security controls. You got it? And in case of cyberspace, you need to deal with everything. So whatever comes, you need to embrace it. And mainly the biggest challenge for a security engineer in information security is um, keep the offenders unauthorizingly accessing your data, and uh, modifying it without any intimation. So for this, we'll follow something called as change control. So how many of you are aware about change management process? So people who are all working, just give a heads up if you are aware. If not, we'll talk about change management. So aren't you aware of this change management process? Rakesh, Munjir. Uh, hope you could able to hear me, right? Like, hope we are all connected. Any at least a thumbs up from anyone if you are aware of change management process or not. Okay, so since there is no response, I'll take that as no. I'll explain about change management process. So change management process is applicable to every company in the IT industry that they cannot make changes to the critical infrastructure without intimating the stakeholders. Assume that I am the owner of a respective Windows operating system. Okay. Now I'm actually running an application in that particular Windows infrastructure. Now there is a desktop support team, like what Rakesh does. Assume if there is any bug and if that needs to be patched immediately, so without informing the respective owner, the custodian cannot go ahead and make changes. What if the system restarts? Assume that if you are running an application like Flipkart, so something like Flipkart or Amazon is actually running in these servers. Okay, now without any intimation, if you restart this particular device, then the companies will incur crores of losses, isn't it? So this is how it occurs. So change management plays a critical role. And in case of cybersecurity, the security engineers typically been employed in law enforcement. So assume that you could have been frauded, or you could have lost your money in your bank account, isn't it? So all of them will be reported to the respective cybercrime department. Any doubts in this slide before we proceed further? At
Yes, sir.
least a
No
thumb.
doubt.
No doubt. Thank you so much, Rakesh. Okay, so the main aim of security engineers in information security, they strive for data security, right? So we typically have data in our company, and that's how they work in order to provide security. That could be the essential part, that could be the center agenda for everybody, doing the protection for the data. And with respect to cybersecurity, what they'll actually do, they, APTs, advanced persistent threats. So yesterday we were talking about certain hacking groups, right? Like for India, there is a hacking group called as a Tiger. So all of these hacking groups are being called as APTs. Okay, so keep remember this word called as APT. This can be an interview question, and they may ask a question, what is an APT? Can you please name about a few APTs? Okay, so yesterday we were talking about leopard, tiger, Cholima from North Korea, right? So these are all the popular advanced persistent threats. So also called as hacking groups. Okay, so we'll talk more in the upcoming slides. Okay, so these are all the basic principles. Now assume that this is like a foundation of information security. See, whatever you do, assume that you might be learning a new programming language, or assume that you're building something like an mechanical engineer, or assume that you might be a civil engineer, right? So whatever you do, the basic building blocks should be perfect, right? So we are saying that we are going to protect the company's data, this, that. We are going to use a certain kind of mechanisms, etc., right? But what could be the basic building blocks? The basic building blocks for any information security ecosystem is the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So when comes to confidentiality, assume that you have what actually comes to your mind when you hear about the word confidentiality? Rakesh or anyone would like to talk about this? Please be interactive, so that you won't get bored.
Confidentiality means personal data.
Mm, personal, yeah, that can be done, yes. Not only personal data, company data, everything, right? So that
Yeah,
personal data is an asset, is a resource, right? So I'm just talking about confidentiality, keeping things private. Assume that
yeah, yeah.
Rohan, so you have some kind of a personal data. For example, assume that your family members are, you could have recently been diagnosed with some kind of fever. Okay, you could have visited a hospital, right? So your full name and your phone number, your email ID, they will collect in hospital. See, no matter, assume that if someone asking your personal details, apart from hospital, many of us may give wrong information in certain forums, so that we would like to evade any spam calls from them. Everybody agree with me, right? But in
Yeah.
case of
Yes, sir.
hospital, we always give genuine information, because there might be sensitive information that may needs to be communicated by the hospital authorities to us, right? So that is a critical scenario. So that's the reason we give them our what I can say, personal details, or assume that if you're putting some kind of claims, they will ask your employee ID, they will ask your insurance copies, they will ask your card, and also they will ask your pan card details too, or any kind of government proof, isn't it? So all these documents are your private information, so you need to keep them protected, not getting disclosed to the public. Assume that recently we had a conflict with our neighboring country. Now, when they during Operation Sindur, so many of us are aware that India are going to give a firm reply to the neighboring country, but are we going to announce when we are going to attack? No, that's a stupid thing, right? So we need to keep that in confidentiality, so that, so if you disclose that we are going to attack you on this particular time or in this particular date, then there might be more resistance from the opposite party. Okay, so in the same manner, so you need to keep things confidential. Okay, in case of company, okay, so this can be your company's secret data, like a purchasing order or any contract obligations, etc., etc. So in case of company, so what could be the possible confidential information? Any working professionals would like to answer this question? In case of company or in a enterprise, what do you think would be the confidential information? Mr. Rakesh, Yaha, Munjir.
Company shares.
Sorry? In case of a organization, what could be the confidential information? What do you think would be the confidential information?
Phone number, bank details, PAN number, Aadhaar card number.
Company
Okay.
project.
No. Company projects. Excellent answer. And also the import VIP email ID, right? VIP email ID, VIP's. Hmm. So, for example, you cannot get the TCS CEO personal phone number over internet, or you cannot get the email ID of the CEO directly, in the internet, right? It's not been disclosed anywhere. So assume if they get disclosed, that can be a dummy one. Okay, we'll talk about that. Okay, and on top of that, what kind of operating system or what kind of equipment that the company actually uses? Now assume that you may think, so how many of you, so there are a couple of students, right, or a couple of working professionals. So have you ever noticed this thing? Couple of your employees might be posting in LinkedIn, okay, that they achieved something, or they might be in a meeting. They could have posted a story in social media accounts saying that, okay, so today I had a meeting with this guy or not. Have you ever noticed this? Have you ever noticed this? Okay, so assume that by any chance, if our how many of you noticed that, if someone gets a new opportunity in a company like TCS or Infosys, they will go to LinkedIn and they will put a post saying that, I got this laptop, I got this freebies, the ID card, etc., etc. How many of you noticed this? Anyone would like to talk? Hello?
No, sir.
Okay, you haven't noticed this. Okay, so what about others? Have you ever experienced this? Okay, now, no, that's not a problem. Okay, so assume that if you open social media, you could be able to see this, right? Like, I purchased a new phone, I purchased a new laptop of this particular configuration, etc., etc. In the same case, that applies to the employees too. So assume in that happiness, what they'll do, they'll excitingly posting in LinkedIn that, this is the ID card and this is the computer that I have received. So what
Yes.
the hacker does during the reconnaissance, he will carefully look after the operating system. Okay. So here, in case of company, coming to know about operating system is a confidential information. Have you ever, given a thought? Have you ever think that, usage of operating system is a confidential information?
Yes, sir.
Mm.
It's
So once you,
confidential.
so assume that if you disclose the operating system that you are using in your company in a wider forum, then what hackers do, they get this information. For example, just like we have generative AI like ChatGPT, right? So you don't need anything. Assume that if someone need Coca-Cola, okay, they want it for a discount price. They go to ChatGPT and they will put a comment saying that where can I find the Coca-Cola for best discount? Or something like Jepto, Big Basket, right? You can inquire a particular product, okay? Just a click in ChatGPT. So earlier it's like you need to go individually to respective websites and you need to check the price. But if you make use of ChatGPT, it's like, you can put a single comment, you will get all the data in one shot, right? So in the same manner, what hackers does, they'll put a request over internet by using some specialized tools. They'll come to know what kind of operating system that you are actually using. Okay, they will make a weapon. Yesterday we talked about cyber kill chain, right? So how many of you understood the cyber kill chain concept yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. So in the reconnaissance phase, he will come to know your operating system, right? In the weaponization concept, what he will do, he will prepare the malware or he will prepare the payload as per your operating system vulnerabilities. Okay. Now, so this is how it's going to be. So disclosing your identity card, assume that they can clone your identity card. They'll just show. So assume that. Okay, this is an IT park. Okay. Now what they'll do, when you're actually entering an IT park, all you need to show the ID card, right? So assume you posted something in LinkedIn or you posted something in Facebook. What they'll do, they will get the picture of your ID card. They will clone it exactly. They will, make a duplicate replica of your ID card. Okay. They will show it. They will wear the, it's very easy, right? They'll show this particular identity card to the security person. They will enter your campus. Now assume that your company has been situated in fifth floor. Okay, now they'll take lift. You don't need any identity card in getting into lift, right? So they'll get into the lift and now assume that they'll come to your office, to your respective floor. Now before you are actually getting into inside a door, okay, now assume that the hacker is following the person who is already trying to put his access and he's trying to get in, he can tailgate, right? If there is no security guard, what they'll do, he will tailgate. He will tailgate and he will get in. Now, a company, someone like TCS, they'll be having 10,000 to 20,000 employees in one particular ODC. You agree with me, right? So now, if even if you find some new guy, you're not aware that he's actually an employee or not. So he'll just putting an identity card and he'll be roaming everywhere. What if he steals something and he'll walk away, right? So even putting your identity card over social media, that conflicts with the confidential in. So I hope that you understood the concept of confidentiality. So any doubt in this before I go get into next concept?
No, sir, no doubt.
Okay, just a 1 minute. I'm trying to consume some water. Just a minute. Thank you so much. Hope you could able to hear me. So any doubts in confidentiality? No, right? Can we go ahead for integrity?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's take a very small example what integrity is all about. Okay. So Mr. Rohan, so you said that you are a cybersecurity student, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So assume your madam has given a task. Okay. They have assigned you some assignment and they asked you to upload in a Google Drive.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you did, you prepared the Word document and you uploaded in the Google Drive. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now your document is actually 10 pages. So what you actually did, you actually written everything by your hand and you took a PDF copy and you have uploaded this. Okay, sorry, I mentioned document. You uploaded the, or assume that this is a MS Word document. So what you did,
Yeah.
you took pictures of your, so what you did, you initially have written in a paper, you took the pictures of that and you have pasted in the Microsoft document and you have uploaded here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now assume that another student who doesn't like you, okay, who doesn't like you, assume that you have mentioned your roll number. Assume that 1234 1234 is your roll number. And now you have uploaded this file to the Google shared platform, your shared folder for your class. Now what the other person is doing, assume that there is a person called as B, so he don't like you. So what he did, he opened your file, he deleted everything. Now there are almost all 10 pages of papers been written by you and you have taken a picture and you have uploaded it here in the document. Now assume that the person went and he deleted everything. Now what could be the next thing, Rohan? What happens next? So when your teacher try to evaluate you, so will be able to find the data in your document. Hope you understood my question, right?
Yes, sir. I understand. Due to some network issue.
Okay, so assume that the assignment that you have submitted, The other person, what he did, he opened your document and he has deleted all the data. Now you tell me what happens next. So, whenever your teacher evaluates this, so you will be awarded with 0 marks, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is
But
called
sir,
as
how it is possible? Another person how access my Google Drive?
not your Google Drive. It is a, your classroom shared Google Drive.
Okay.
Shared Google Drive. Okay. Shared Google Drive. So what your teacher has said, he asked to, complete the assignment and upload everybody's files into one shared drive, shared Google Drive. Okay. Now everybody has
Okay.
access to this. Now what happened? So someone assume that this guy is a class leader, class representative. He don't like you, so he deleted all the data. Now the data in your document has been tampered, right? So the
Yes,
integrity.
sir.
Okay. So assume that in the same thing. That is all integrity talks about. Okay. So ensuring that the data can be modified only by the appropriate mechanism. So here in this example, okay, the fellow colleague or fellow student was not supposed to alter your data. He should not have rights to do this. In the same manner, only teachers should able to edit this. Okay. Now when you actually, when the teacher, what teacher should do, when teacher shares the Google Drive, okay, he should disable the rights to all other students, saying that person, only can upload the file only once. Okay. Now they can able to at least upload multiple files, but students does not have access to modify any data in any of the files. Okay, be it their own file or be it the fellow colleagues files. Okay, neither they can able to modify, they could able to delete the respective file. So that is all integrity talks about. So integrity is nothing but only, okay, now in case of your company, right? So you have some confidential documents. So people who are working professionals, they might have already aware of SharePoint. SharePoint, right? So when what it happens? So SharePoint is a storage space in cloud where you are going to upload all the respective team details. Now assume that we have a network engineer, right? So now you documented something and you have uploaded in the SharePoint. Okay. Now assume that there exists a certain kind of data. Now you are working in a respective shift 9 to 6 and there is a new joiner in your office. Okay. You are a L2. So are you a L2 or L3 Munjir or some network guy is there, right? Yeah. So who is the networking guy here? Sorry, missed you. Hello? Or at least a thumbs up. Who is that networking guy? Just for, okay, no response. Fine, not a problem. So assume that you are actually working on a shift. Okay. So what you did in the first shift from 9 to 6, you worked and you have updated the document in the SharePoint with all the necessary findings that you have noticed in the respective 9 to 6 shift. Now assume that someone logging in at a evening 7 o'clock, he will be working in the morning till 5 o'clock. Okay, just assume. Now this guy is a fresher. Okay. Now can you all please tell me whatever the access that L2 have, is it fine that the fresher can also have the same kind of access?
Yes.
No, sir.
Who is saying yes? Who is saying no?
Rohan, no, sir.
No. Okay. What about you, Yaha?
Sir, can you tell one more time, sir?
Now assume that you are the senior in your team. Okay. Now you have access to the SharePoint. You have uploaded all the files here. Okay. So you have access to delete, you have access to edit the file. Okay. You have access to upload the file. Okay. Now there is a new fresher being joined in your team. Now, are you going to give the same permissions that you have to the new fresher?
No, sir.
No. Excellent answer from both of you. The reason why we won't give the, you know, higher privileges for the fresher, because there might be a little chance of risk, right? So instead of they may be reading a file, okay, when they have given a KT, and when they were actually given with editing privileges, instead of reading, they may just click on delete. The information will just get deleted, right? So that's the reason we should only give read privileges for a fresher, okay, not the editing privileges, so that data won't get tampered. So in the same manner, you are going to take necessary actions, okay, so that your confidential information will not get tampered by the attackers. Okay. Now assume that, so Yaha actually owns a company. Okay, he owns a company, construction company, and what he did, he has given a quotation. So his company name is A. Okay, so there is a government tender has been called, and Mr. Yaha, he quoted a price, some price, 10 lakhs. So he prepared all these documents. So the price is confidential, right? Okay. Now assume there is a competitor. Okay. Mr. Rohan is the competitor of Yaha. Okay. So he runs a company called as B. Okay. Now the government tender will be allotted to someone who will quote for the lesser price. Now assume that for a long time, Rohan does not have a project. Okay. Now wherever Rohan goes, Yaha also goes. Okay. He used to submit tender, and Yaha always wins the tender. Now Rohan got frustrated here. Now what Rohan does? Now he does an attack on the Yaha's computer. Okay. He does a attack on Yaha's computer. He looks into the file. Okay. So yesterday we were talking about certain kind of malware, right? So there is something called as a Trojan. Okay. So he installs a Trojan. So he come to know the price at which Yaha quoted for this particular tender. Okay. Now what he will do, he will quote very lesser price. For example, 9.5 lakhs. Okay. So now since this is a lesser price, automatically his tender will get allotted. Okay. Now, not only Rohan sniffs on Yaha's computer, he will also runs a malware called as ransomware. Okay. So this particular ransomware, what it will does, it will encrypt the entire data. Okay. The entire data will get encrypted, and Yaha does not have any access to the files that he actually won. Now, assume that if he'll go to the tender, he cannot submit the malicious files, right? Or the files which are been encrypted. So even the authorities cannot able to open them. So there would be a format, right? That you need to, specify certain kind of guidelines in your document. So assume if this particular document has been encrypted, then, R- Yaha cannot go and file a tender. Okay. Now you understand how critical is the integrity.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Now, in order to safeguard our files, we will be using certain kind of security mechanisms called as antivirus. Okay. So you could have used this in your computer, right? So antivirus you could have used, and we will also use a tool called as a file integrity monitoring. Okay. Now, basically, I currently work as a security architect for FIM. So FIM is a security control. Okay, it's a security mechanism that we actually use. Okay, whenever some kind of confidential information has been accessed or is been edited. So I am part of a team where we actually manufacture cybersecurity tools for FIM. Okay. Now everybody understood the concept of FIM, right? Any doubts before we gets into the availability? Yaha, Rohan, Rakesh.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Now availability. Okay. Now I have a question for you, Rakesh. Hope you are able to hear me. Now assume that there are 10 laptops in your company. Okay. Now if there are 5 new employees been joining today. Let me put this in a pictorial manner. So Rakesh works as a desktop engineer and he actually, provides laptops for all the newcomers. Okay. Now his stock says 10 laptops. Okay. So now what happened? So Rohan went for a lunch, and when he actually went for lunch, suddenly someone has theft 9 laptops. Only one laptop is available now. Now, when Rohan comes and checks his inventory, he found 9 laptops being lost. Now, this is a attack on availability. Okay, you people understood this, right? We'll talk in depth in case of cyber security, but hope you understood this, right? Availability. Okay, so in the same manner, what hackers does, for example, just now we have taken an example of Yaha and Rohan, right? Okay, so assume now Rohan is the attacker. Okay, and Yaha actually works for a company. Now what will happen? Assume that there is a confidential information. Okay, or assume that Yaha and Rohan are both our colleagues. Okay, now what happened? Yaha successfully completed a project. Okay, so he worked really hard for 6 months and he prepared a excellent document that talks all about his work in 6 months. Okay, now Rohan is the colleague of Yaha, and he already worked on a project, and he also did the same kind of work. Now what Rohan did in order to gain the goodwill of management, so now he come to know that whatever the work being done by Yaha also almost all matches with his competency. Okay, now what Rohan can do when Yaha, assume that he didn't logged his computer. Okay, so what Rohan can do, he can directly, get into the respective folders. He can delete all the files, right? So that's one thing. You got it right, the example, Rohan and Yaha.
Yes, sir.
So in the same manner, let's take a very good example. This is the festival season, right? Okay. Now let's take an example. Okay. So where do you used to order, Rohan or Yaha? From which website? Amazon, Flipkart? So which website you used to take for order?
Flipkart. Flipkart.
Okay. So now assume that Flipkart. Okay. So this is the Flipkart website. Okay. And now assume that they have hosted the Flipkart website in one of the web server. Assume that it is in AWS. So many, hope you are aware, right? AWS is nothing but Amazon Web Services. Okay. Now there is a competitor. Assume that Mitra. There is a guy called as Mitra. Mitra is also a e-commerce platform, and this Mitra doesn't like Flipkart to run the Big Billion Days. Or assume that how it would be, right? Like in case of Big Billion Days, there would be a huge demand for the products, right? Even for opening your account, it will take a hell amount of time. You agree? At least a
Yes.
thumbs up. Mm. There would be huge demand, right? Now assume that every day there is a um, assessment being done by the Flipkart team that every day we will be having a 10,000 users visiting our website. Okay. Now based upon this, they could have made some arrangements. Okay. Now assume that during Big Billion Days, what will happen? Assume that there are 10 lakh people trying to visit this particular website. Now what will happen? Or assume that you are a student, right? So assume that there would be some kind of what I can say, central government results being published in CBSE websites or UPSC website, right? Now, if there is a huge traffic, then what will
Yes,
happen?
Server crash.
It will crash. Excellent example. That means the website will crash, okay, and it won't be available. So that means even the 10,000 normal users cannot able to do this, cannot able to access the Flipkart website. So if the website is not available, there would be no sales and there would be zero revenue. Okay. Now let's understand this in case of information security from attacker perspective. Okay. Now Mitra does not want Flipkart to run the Big Billion Days. What he will do? He will use some kind of computers, okay, to generate traffic continuously to Flipkart. Okay. So in networking, so we had the networking guy, right? I'm not sure whether he's still available or not. But in networking, the first guy will get serviced. First in, first out. Okay. This is how the website architecture usually works, isn't it? Now assume that you have actually trying to access the Flipkart website, but it says that your queue is 1,000. Or how many of you called to some kind of customer care and the IVR is saying you, hey, your waiting period is 10 minutes or 5 minutes, especially whenever you call to insurance companies, right? Yeah, Rohan.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now assume that what as an attacker I can do. So what I'll do, I will generate artificial traffic to Flipkart. Okay, I wantedly generate tons of
Like,
traffic
sir,
to.
did you attend?
Sorry, Rohan.
It's like DOS attack.
Absolutely. Okay. DOS attack. So assume that denial of service. So what I can do, I can deploy a zombie, I can deploy a bot, and I can perform a DOS attack on the Flipkart servers. And assume that if this particular attack has been distributed across the different geographical locations, then it is called as DDoS, distributed denial of service. Okay. Now you understood the concept of availability, right? So that means only authorized users are supposed to access the respective resources, not the fraudsters. Okay. Now what Flipkart can do here, okay, they can deploy a particular application security tool called as web application firewall. Okay. Now what this web application firewall does, it do have all the intelligence of identifying the DOS attacks, and the traffic will be dropped so that only legitimate users will be getting service from Flipkart. Okay. So I hope that you people understood this, right? The concepts of CIA triad. These are the basic concepts, and if you are not going to understand this, it would be really difficult.
Yes, sir. I understand.
Okay. What about others? Muhammad, Yaha, Rakesh?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You
sir.
understood, right? Okay, thank you so much. So let's stop today because the proposed time today, I was told to take for 45 minutes. We already crossed 1 hour. So now no, just coming back to tools, right? So we are going to, I hope that you have looked into the chart, right? I have so Rohan, Yaha, if you could have joined a little bit late, so do you have this information? I have posted some requirements in the chart, so are you able to see them? So since you're already a I'm reposting it again. So we will be doing a real time, okay, real time walkthrough on the cybersecurity tools. So for that, see, I already have my lab available, okay, but if you also have the lab been done from your end, there are more chances that you will also get the real time experience, so that if there are any doubts you can ask me directly. Okay, you got it?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so that's it today, Motish. Hope you are hearing me, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yes, I.
So that's it.
Hello,
We
sir.
can stop. Yes. Yes, yes,
Where are you
Mr.
from, sir?
Rohan.
Where
Sorry.
are you from? Where are you?
Okay,